Howdy mates, good noon or afternoon. Here's a part 4 video. So right now I'm actually just on the Eagle Point Trail. This is actually one of my favorite trails at the Charlotte Harbor Environmental Center. But right now I believe we are walking over Alligator Creek, which in a sense is a tributary that flows here and will eventually go out into the Charlotte Harbor. So what we are about to enter, or essentially the type of ecosystem that we are in, is something called a mangrove swamp. So as I mentioned in one of my videos from earlier, we're essentially seeing more mangroves than anything. So first way to tell if you're looking at a red mangrove, for instance, is the leaves are pointed. That was actually something I forgot to mention in one of my earlier videos. Yep, they actually have kayak rentals that you can use here. I believe they're actually going to start doing kayak programs pretty soon, from what I've heard. It's beginning in March, I believe. But I wanted to point out something else out to you guys, which is actually really neat, by the way. So here we are. I'm sure some of you have seen this particular plant before, on some of your strolls out here. Now, for those of you who don't know what this is actually something called a coinvine. It's also called a fishpoison plant. Now, you may be wondering, why is it called that? Well, what's fascinating is the coinvine produces an anesthetic called Rotenone. Now, what's fascinating about Rotenone is that it's essentially poisonous, so you can't consume it. Now, the Native Americans, especially the Seminole and even the Calusa, would use the anesthetic from the plant, put it on their needles, and hunt for fish. And it would easily decapitate them. So with that being said, it's proven in the past to be very valuable. Now they call it coinvine because, as you can see, it has an extensive vine that grows quite tall. And it sprawls out pretty well. I mean, it even goes on top of this sable palm in addition. Now, they do produce these leaves that do resemble looking at a coin. I believe that's how the plant really got its name. And this is actually a type of legume. So that means they are also nitrogen fixers. So they actually do produce these seeds that are in the form of beans. But as I've said, you still don't want to consume these at all. But yeah, this is another favorite part of the Charlotte Harbor Environmental Center, honestly. So, I don't think we're quite there yet, but there's another plant that I actually want to point out to you guys. Might take just a moment. Give me a second. Yeah, just give me a moment. Alrighty, we finally have approached to the plant. Alrighty, so here's a different distinctive type of plant. This is actually something called a hog's plum. Now, I believe it's called that. I mean, I'm sure of many reasons why, but from what I've read before, they call it hog's plum because they actually do produce these berries that resemble plums, and they've commonly been eaten by the feral hogs that are found down here in Florida. Now, looks can be a little deceiving because you'd almost think that it's a type of oak, but it isn't. It's actually quite distinctive in terms of its characteristics. So, one thing to look for you to know if you are seeing what you call a hog's plum is the leaves. They have a very smooth texture, and they have a tendency to have a very light green color. Now, the thing is, in addition, most oaks tend to sprawl out. Unlike the hog's plum, on the other hand, it has a tendency to just grow straight up towards the sky. It's essentially a competitor for reaching sunlight, especially since, our other oaks, whether it be the live oak or even the laurel oak, they tend to have quite a canopy. But here's the thing. The hog plum kind of acts like a mooch, hence the sign right up here. It mooches off of the live oak. So what happens is the hog's plum has extensive roots in which it will interact with the live oak roots and will obtain nutrients from the live oak. And the thing is, that can be detrimental in the long term because then the live oak isn't receiving as much nutrients as it needs to. So in a sense, the hog's plum acts as a parasite, unfortunately. But the thing is, the hog's plum, it is a native variety, even though it does act like a parasite. And here, we've actually got ourselves a laurel oak, as indicated by the sign here. A way for you to know if you are looking at a laurel oak is to pay attention to the leaves. So for instance, the leaves on this laurel oak here, they tend to be a little wider, especially towards the tip. And the vein in the center is yellow. Whereas with a live oak, on the other hand, the leaves are a lot narrower. Here we go. Here's a demonstration of what I am talking about. So yeah, it's quite neat how the Charlotte Harbor Environmental Center really provides an opportunity to provide some interpretive signs for visitors to help understand more about the native vegetation that inhabits Florida's natural world. So, all right, you guys. Thanks for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed learning about, some of the native plants that I haven't really had a chance to mention about until today. So, it's quite the pleasure to do so. So, all right, you guys. Hope you all enjoy your Wednesday. And once again, Journey on a Journey is outwards. Take care, folks. See ya.